Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtedar Khan, your host, and I'm coming to you today from Detroit, Michigan. Many years ago, I used to live very near here in a small town called Adrian, where I was a professor at Adrian College in the first 5 years of my academic career. And then I moved to the University of Delaware in 2005, and I've been there since. I'm here for to attend the first uh, Arabic book fair in the United States, and I will be giving a talk on Islamophobia here in just a couple of hours. So within 48 hours of returning from India, I'm again on the road traveling to Detroit, but that's life. And I'm happy that I get opportunity to share my views and my thoughts with so many people in so many different parts of the world. So today I'm going to talk to you about two political storms that are heading towards India. One of them has just been triggered by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which is essentially the political storm of caste. And I will explain to you shortly what I mean by that. The other storm that is heading towards India is delimitation. And I will explain to you what that is. Either both are dependent on India conducting its population census this year or maybe next year. But it's already overdue. It was supposed to be done in 2021, but the Prime Minister Modi's government has been using the excuse of COVID to basically say that because of COVID, we are not able to do it. Well, it's been nearly 4 years since COVID happened, and other countries which were scheduled to have census in 2021, like United Kingdom, have all conducted their census either in 2021 itself or very quickly after that. But India still has not done it because the results that will come out of this census are going to be very tricky to handle. So anyway, we'll talk about that. But before that, please subscribe to Conversations, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to share this video with your socio-political network. I want to thank everybody from India who are watching the channel using VPN, in spite of the fact that Prime Minister Modi's government is quite frightened of Conversations and they have tried to block this channel in India. To me, it is quite amusing that my little channel apparently threatens Prime Minister Modi to such an extent that he felt to use the power of the government to order both YouTube and X to block me in India. So in that sense, it is a great achievement that bigger channels with millions of followers are not a threat to Narendra Modi, but Conversations is. Anyway, so this is what has happened. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Modi, after he conducted his meeting with security personnel, with the defense minister, he and Amit Shah, the home minister, met with Mohan Bhagwat, who is the head of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. The RSS is an ideological organization that seeks to make India a Hindu Rashtra. So this is a Hindu ideological movement that's been going on for nearly 100 years, and they want India to be a Hindu Rashtra. So BJP is the political face of RSS, and so many members of the Bharatiya Janata Party are essentially members of RSS, like Prime Minister Modi himself. So Mohan Bhagwat met with him ostensibly to discuss the consequences of the horrible terrorist attacks that happened in Pahalgam on April 22. The terrorists are still missing, and the country is waiting with anger and frustration for Prime Minister Modi to take revenge against those who support the terrorists. So there is a lot of talk about punishing Pakistan, who is accused of being behind the terrorists and providing them with all kinds of support, etc. The terrorists who have taken credit for it are connected to Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistan-based anti-India terrorist organization. And so Mohan Bhagwat and Narendra Modi met essentially to discuss security matters. But within a day after the two met, Prime Minister Modi's office and one of the ministers in his cabinet announced that this time data about caste will also be collected during the census. So whenever the census is, they have not announced when the census will be conducted, whether it is conducted this year or next year. Whenever the census will be conducted, questions about caste will be asked. So we will have up-to-date data about caste. The last election that took place was in 2011. We actually have not had caste data for a long time. Most of it is estimates. Some of the states, like Karnataka and I think even Bihar, have had statewide caste-based elections. And apparently Telangana is also planning to do that. So, what is the political problem here? So, one, there's a small political storm going on that the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, has been demanding for several months that a caste census be conducted. So that his argument is that there is a lot of social injustice in India. The people who are of backward classes, the Dalits, the scheduled tribes have been marginalized. They are in great numbers. And so he points out to the underrepresentation of backward classes and scheduled tribes and others and scheduled castes in government, in senior positions. He sometimes talks about anchors on television show who are all from upper caste Hindus. So the point that he's trying to make is that the country, a vast majority of the countries come from lower caste Hindus, but all the power and all the wealth and all the influence is concentrated in the hands of the upper caste Hindus. So the point he's trying to make is that that we need to have social justice in the country. We need to treat everybody equally, and we have to give everybody equal opportunity. And in order to do that, we have to restructure the affirmative action or the reservation systems. So right now, reservations is capped at 50% in India, and he wants to lift that cap. So Rahul Gandhi has been arguing that we need to have more than 50% reservations in the country in order to accommodate the growing population of backward classes, scheduled tribes, scheduled castes. The Narendra Modi's government and his party, and of course the attendant Godi media, the so-called Godi media, which basically says yes to everything Prime Minister Modi says, made a lot of fun of Rahul Gandhi for several months, saying that he's trying to divide the country. See, the fear is that the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to divide the country along religious lines, Hindus versus Muslims and Christians. And they want to consolidate the Hindu vote so that Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS people get elected everywhere in regional elections as well as national elections. And then once they consolidate the Hindu vote and bring in Hindu parties in power, then they can move towards creating the Hindu Rashtra, even changing the Indian constitution if they have enough control of the constitution at the national level. So they want to divide the country on the basis of religion. But so it's like a vertical division of the country. But what Rahul Gandhi is trying to do is to talk about the marginalization of people of lower caste. So Bharatiya Janata Party sees this as an attempt by Rahul Gandhi to divide the Hindus along caste lines. So if Hindus are divided as upper caste Hindus and lower caste Hindus, then they will not vote for Bharatiya Janata Party. They will vote for those parties, local or national, which are going to advance the interest of the castes rather than religion. So even though the national media does not recognize the fact that BJP divides the country consistently along religious lines, they were making a lot of criticism as well as mockery of Rahul Gandhi for demanding that there be a caste census, because they said that his whole purpose is to divide the Hindu vote. So now that Narendra Modi has announced, or Narendra Modi's government has announced that there will be a caste census, suddenly everybody in the country seems to be thinking that this is a brilliant move, apparently. The same people who condemned the call for caste census as divisive and even anti-national now suddenly find that to be brilliant and a master stroke. So anyway, that is as far as the pathetic sycophantic Indian media is concerned. There is no critical thinking. That's why channels like mine are blocked in India, because we ask serious questions. So anyway, so that's a little storm that is brewing, but that's not the two storms that I'm talking about. The first storm that is going to come is this. Uh, let's talk about what it'll, once we have a profile of the country based on caste, the expectations are that the number of people who qualify as uh, OBCs, other backward classes, is probably much larger than the estimate. So far, the estimates are basically based on the past century. So what is going to happen is that once we know that, oh my God, 60% of the country is OBCs, and then another 20% or whatever. I don't know what the estimates are expected. We have not had census since 2011. We haven't had caste census forever. So once we get an idea of the numbers, and there's a fear that the numbers are going to be very high, then there will be it will be very difficult to make the argument that we should not breach the 50% reservation quota. So suddenly we are going to have reservations which are 60, 70% in the country. Uh, Now, the politics are going to be very, very severe. I remember that as a Muslim, when I was applying for engineering colleges, I was not eligible for any reservations. And I saw reservations as a way of sneaking in 50% of the seats, reserving for Hindus itself, because most of the affirmative action or reservation seats go to uh, Hindus of various castes. So to me, I was participating and competing with upper caste Hindus in the other half, which were not reserved seats. So, but one of the problems was that, oh, people with lesser qualifications will get into positions of power. And so there are lots of issues with affirmative action which will come out. But what is going to happen is that some people are going to be big winners and some people are going to be big losers as a result of this reorientation of the state's benefits, jobs, both in the public sector, in education, seats in medical schools, in engineering colleges, and otherwise. So that is where the tension is going to come. People who are going to lose privileges are going to be really, really angry about it, and people who are going to gain from this will be highly motivated. So we are going to have a major caste-related political storm in India when it comes to the next elections, really. So that's one thing that is now triggered by the announcement by Modi's government that they will indeed collect the caste census, because I think they were trapped by Rahul Gandhi, because if they refuse to conduct the caste census, then Rahul Gandhi would argue that, look, that Modi belongs to the upper caste Brahminical party, and they talk about everybody's sabka saath, sabka vikas, but they are really working for upper caste Hindus, and therefore will not allow a census, and that might motivate the OBCs, etc., to vote for Rahul Gandhi and his allies. So Modi, in order to get those seats, probably, or to prevent Rahul Gandhi from using caste to get votes, has now decided to do it himself. The other problem is that it is going to also become very lopsided in terms of whether it will include religious minority caste. So there are Muslims also who, and there is a caste system within Muslims and Christians also. So it's not very clear whether the caste system will include all religious communities or not. So there's a mini storm within the storm on caste basis. The other political consequence is going to be delimitation, which is the allocation of the seats in the national parliament, in the Lok Sabha, based on population of the state. So according to the Indian constitution, it is one person, one vote. And so the states should get seats in the parliament in direct proportion to their population. But for political reasons, since 1971, it has been frozen. So the distribution of the 543 seats of Lok Sabha into various states are according to the 1971 census, not the 81, 91, 2001, 2011. We've had four census since then, but they have had no impact on delimitation. But now in 2026, there is talk of delimitation. So they will have to have the 2021 census whenever it is conducted. Now, the problem is that in the early days, apparently every member of the parliament represented about 700,000 uh, citizens. So each member of MP was equal to 7 lakh people, and that was the size of the constituency. But now, because of uneven development, southern states, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Kerala have grown faster economically, are better educated than northern states. Most of the Hindi belt and the Hindutva belt is less educated, less developed, and has a higher birth rate. And the southern states have a lower birth rate, which means that the members of parliament in the south represent fewer people, and therefore they say that if you are in the south, your vote is 1.7 times the vote of the person if you are in UP or Bihar. So in that sense, if you look at the vote system from an individual perspective, then you can say that there is overrepresentation of individuals who are in the south. Because the members of parliament from the southern states represent fewer people as opposed to those in the north. Some states like Bihar and UP, I think each member of the parliament represents over 30 lakh people, about 3 million, more than 2.5 million. So 25 to 30 lakhs, whereas in the south, it is much less. But there is this problem that if you do adjust to the population, then the number of seats that UP has, Bihar has, Rajasthan, etc., will increase significantly. And if they do it by population, then Indian Parliament will have to have about 1,800 seats. It is possible that they will go to 880 odd seats. But what it's going to do is that the number of seats in southern states will reduce, which means there will be more political power available to northern states, especially if regional parties start winning elections. Now, one problem with that is redistribution of wealth. So the southern states, which are richer, are contributing more to the national treasure, and they are getting less from the national treasure. So they're taxed. So they are giving more taxes and getting less benefits from the states. So southern states are very upset. They're saying that we are being punished for keeping our population low. We are getting punished for being developed, for investing in education, for investing in infrastructure, for working hard. We work hard and we are more productive, and therefore we are carrying the northerners who are lazy and have many children, are uneducated and unproductive. So there is this political tensions going on to such an extent that some of the leaders in the South are very, very upset. So they will have to rethink this whole system of how to distribute tax revenue, basically make it more decentralized. So southern states keep a bigger share of their taxes that they generate, which means then the northern states will not be able to exploit southern states through the process of taxation. And that is the second political storm that is happening. In the United States, the way we have resolved this problem is that we do have the House, number of seats in the House based on population. But in the Senate, which is a much more powerful branch of the government than the House, has each state gets 2 senators. So in that sense, there is a balance of power between small states and big states. But in India, the Rajya Sabha is not as powerful as the Lok Sabha. And the representation in the Rajya Sabha is also according to population. So I think they will have to either tweak the way the Rajya Sabha is structured, or they will have to completely decentralize the taxation business. So even if the southern states have very little representation in the parliament, uh, I mean, either way, it looks like a mess. Can you imagine that these five states, which have per capita income like poor European countries, over 5,000? I mean, look at Telangana. Its per capita is $5,200, and Bihar is $800. So Telangana is nearly 6 times richer than Bihar. And then if Bihar has more seats, which it does, so Bihar makes laws which people in Telangana will have to obey. I mean, this is going to be a very, very difficult situation, and we'll see how it's negotiated. All of that clearly depends on having a census first. So far, there has been no announcement from the Modi government about when the national census will be. Apparently, when Modi government recovers from COVID, it's been nearly more than 4 years. Most countries which were scheduled to have census have already had that. So these are the two storms that are coming, heading India's way, and they have been triggered by this announcement by the Modi government that they will include caste in the coming census. So anyway, we will talk more about delimitation and caste-based politics as we get closer to the census. So please, until then, I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. Do subscribe to Khanversations, like this video, press the bell icon, share this video with your socio-political network, and tell your friends who are in India to watch the show using VPN. Lots of you have already done so. So thank you very much. So until next time, I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. Bye.